Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to A Course in Miracles 365, Awakening to Love. I'm Reverend Tomás Garza, and thank you to all of the recent subscribers here. There have been a number of you, and I'm delighted to have you here. I hope that this material is inspiring you on your own spiritual journey. I hope that it inspires you to practice. So I want to just take a minute here and welcome you. Wherever you are in the world, I know this is an international audience. A number of you are from Europe and Australia, and it's a pleasure to have you here. Where we are is at the very first section of the text of A Course in Miracles. It's entitled Principles of Miracles. And as you've seen, there are 50 of them. And we're deliberately here on this video series, taking it slowly, going 5 paragraphs at a time, because as you've seen, and we'll see today, these paragraphs are rich with meaning. They're dense with meaning. And you'll find that this is true of the entire course. Every single sentence of this course contains the entire thought system. And if you're new to this material, this is, in fact, a thought system. A Course in Miracles aims to teach us to shift, to change, to reorder our perception. Reordering our perception means changing our mind about the entire world, everyone in it, and ourselves. A complete 180. And that is represented by this thought system, the thought system of the Holy Spirit, the thought system of Jesus. And the other thought system is the one we're all familiar with, the ego, the physical body as us, as who we are, running around as a physical body, apparently encased in a physical body, competing with other physical bodies for what we deem to be scarce and tangible resources, such as money and water, and other resources which we just made up quite clearly, like social status, prestige. Come to find out here on the spiritual path, we made it all up, including this. We made that up too. This means we can unmake it. Powerful, powerful. Once on the path, you get a glimpse of this power. Once you begin to get an idea of this magnificent power, it's a game changer, isn't it? A number of you may have had this experience. So let's take a look at principles 26 through 30 here in Principles of Miracles. What I'm doing is I'm hitting the highlight, and there is a recurring theme that I want to touch on here. It is the paramount importance of spirit, not the physical body. One exists, the other does not. Part of this reversal of thought systems, part of this massive shift in perspective, is identifying with spirit, identifying with who we are, not this compound body of flesh. And well, it's 80% water, right? There's bone in here, cartilage, and some guts and stuff, right? It's not who we are. Part of this process that we call spiritual practice, this amalgamation, this set of practices that exists in the world, apparently, that we call spiritual practice, part of all of this is disidentifying with the ego. It is. It's disidentifying with individuality. All labels and terms, man, woman, Homo sapiens, sapiens, that too. Right? If our reality is spirit, we're not human beings. We certainly appear to be. I mean, that's actually what we've labeled ourselves, isn't it? It's a term that we use to talk about this thing and things that look similar to this thing, which, as we can easily gather here in the 21st century, is a projected image on your screen. So too is everything that the body's eyes show us. This one may take some time, but A Course in Miracles is not the only spiritual tradition in this world to teach us that this is a dream. Our reality is spirit, one with God, not a physical body. This is a theme that we're seeing here in the very first chapter, in the very first section of the text of A Course in Miracles that, of course, we're going to see throughout. Every part contains the whole. You're not a body. You'll hear that again. And if you've been at this for 20 or 30 years, you've heard it a lot. Let's all say it again, because we all need to hear things again, don't we? Right? Let's talk for a minute here about atonement. As we see in, well, this is a verse, not verse, but paragraph 25. What we see there is that miracles are part of an interlocking chain of forgiveness, which, when complete, is the atonement. We are going to say quite a bit about atonement and accepting atonement for yourself, which is what we're invited to do. Think of it as healing and think of it as an undoing. Let's simplify it right here for the purposes of this video today. It's healing and it's an undoing, and miracles as part of this are release from fear. This is what's relevant here today. It's a release from fear. Forgiveness is a release from fear. Smiling at your neighbor and saying hello, to return to this simple example, is a release from fear. It may actually release your neighbor from fear, but because there is no other, you're releasing yourself. A very simple way of thinking of atonement is healing or undoing. We accept the undoing of the ego. We accept healing for ourselves. It's done at the level of the mind. And miracles are a way that we earn our release from fear. This is interesting. We earn our release from fear. It's not wiped away with a big giant cloth with disinfectant on it. Nobody wipes our stuff away from us. Why? It's in our mind. So it's there that we look at it and forgive and release it. It's done at the level of the mind. And it's properly looked at as earning our release from fear. I've said before, and now is a perfect time to reiterate, that spirituality is an adult endeavor. I know. Wouldn't it be beautiful if somebody could just wash it all away for us? We could just sit there and do nothing and eat pizza, eat bonbons, have a nice cup of tea or a double martini and watch it all just get wiped away without our having to do a single thing, even in our own minds. Wouldn't that be great? Oh, yeah, it's an adult endeavor. We've got to do the work. We've got to do our part. don't we? So we actually earn this. Happily, our part is very small. We forgive the images that appear on the screen of life, everything that appears to upset us, anything that is not constant joy and beauty, anything that upsets you in any way is raw material for awakening. It is an opportunity to forgive. That's our part. The Holy Spirit, our inner teacher, does the rest. The Holy Spirit heals the deeper unconscious guilt. We can't see it. It's unconscious. The Holy Spirit takes care of that. Our job is to forgive what appears on the screen of life. So, as we do it, fear is released. It's released. And we can even see this moment to moment as we do it in a relaxation of our own emotional state, can't we? If we're feeling stressed out by something and we forgive it, you do feel better. No? It's a way of dissipating stress and anxiety, even right then and there. It's instantaneous. So along the path in our lives, we begin to notice this. Now, this segment of the text talks for, and this is the first time we see Revelation introduced. We're not talking about the biblical book of Revelation with 144,000 elect and all of this other stuff. I don't even remember reading it, but I remember when I went through it word for word several years ago. I was a teenager. So it really is several years ago. I remember thinking, wow, what a product of a feverish imagination this is. I mean, I've seen novels that were more realistic than this, right? So I'm not talking about that revelation. Revelation is a term that's used very differently here in A Course in Miracles, and it is our experience of God, our experience, however momentary, of our oneness, completeness, union with God. That is what's known as revelation. Now, it may or may not have happened along your path. And this is something that some people experience and some don't appear to. But it's where we're all headed. We've never left our source. Ideas leave not their source. And we're the thought of God. We've never left our source. Yeah. So, having never left our source, revelation is an experience of our natural state. That's what that is. That's an end. Forgiveness, miracles are a means. Smiling at your neighbor is, in metaphysical terms, a means to an end. With the end being, how about the end of suffering? How about the end of time, space? The end of your identification with a physical body. Yeah. We're invited throughout our practice to disidentify with the ego and to identify instead as spirit, as who we are. How do we do this? We go to work where this course is needed on the level of the mind, within our own minds. Everything that we appear to see is being projected. Our minds have projected space, time. The mind just projected that, including the physical body that we appear to inhabit. Therefore, mind's outside of it. What do we do? Well, we appear to be here. Well, you can say confronted if you want to, but I prefer a different verb. We have opportunities placed in our path. Forgiveness opportunities are all around us. We're given opportunities to forgive. And as we do, we disidentify with the ego. We gradually, as need be, see ourselves as one with not only our brother, but with our Creator as well. 1 equals 1. We only have to count to 1 in A Course in Miracles. So it's not complicated. All right, guys. We're in the midst of disidentifying with the ego. That's what we're doing here on the spiritual path. And I'm happy that you've joined me. Here's the subscription button. It's right here. And that's the little red arrow. I'd love to have you. If this material is speaking to you in any way, please feel welcome to reach out to me. Not only to subscribe, but also to reach out and leave any questions or comments. I'm here to be of assistance to you as a guide here on the journey, on the path. And it's my pleasure to have you join me here today. Thank you so much. I will see you all very, very soon.